Hello, everyone. Good morning or good evening or whatever time it may be for you. Um, I am currently sitting out a blizzard in my house. So here we are. I'm not really dressed up. So I'm sorry I do not look my pristine this morning. Um, but I wanted to share the scripture reflection from this past week, which is going to be Tobit. Um, I've heard a lot of people have been kind of confused about why do we have the book of Tobit. Not really understanding the story behind Tobit. It's kind of confusing and it's very mind-blowing. I've been listening to different reflections and especially Father Mike Schmitz when he goes the Bible in a year. He shares on Tobit, and starting in day 193 in the Bible in a year, he starts going through the book of Tobit and kind of sharing like what's going on. So if you are confused and kind of want a little bit more depth to it, definitely check that out. And he actually goes through of like why certain books in the Bible were taken out, and so on and so forth. So definitely check that out. I do not have that knowledge, but I did want to share what I've gotten out of the book this week. So we're actually going to start with chapter 3. And before this, if you haven't been reading Tobit, before this, Tobit is a man who lives with his wife Anna and his son Tobias, and he is known for, the start of the book, known for burying the dead that gets killed in the marketplace or gets killed in the village that he's living. Oftentimes they're just taken out to the back behind the gate or behind the wall and just left. And he takes it upon himself to go and bury the dead and give them honor. So in that is just an act of mercy and really living out our call as Christians to honor the dead and honor those before us. So in chapter 3, Tobit has become blind. There's a white film over his eyes and he is distraught. He's like, Lord, why have you done this to me? Is it because of my ancestors? Is it because we have made so many mistakes? And then on the other side, and this is kind of interesting how this just comes into play, but Sarah comes into play in media. And at the same time that Tobit is having all of these feelings and calling out to the Lord and is distraught and just praying for healing for his blindness, Sarah is in media, which is in a different city, and she is lamenting to God about how she has gotten married 7 times, but each husband has been killed before they've been able to consummate their marriage. There's a demon attached to her, and he kills each husband that she marries before they're able to make the marriage solidified. So she is like, why is this happening to me? Her handmaid is giving her even more, just not being nice to her, telling her that there's something wrong with her. And she's just like, Lord, why am I still here? But she has said, and she says here, why should I live? But if it not be pleasing to you to take my life, command that respect be shown to me, and pity be taken upon me, and that I hear reproach no more. So she's like, Lord, why am I still alive? Why is my husband that's always gets killed? Why am I left to grieve? And it's just interesting how it's displayed in this chapter, because it says at the exact same moment, both of them are experiencing this. And then as both of them are experiencing this, And they both were praying and everything. It says, at that very moment, the prayer of both was heard in the presence of the glory of the great God. And Raphael was sent to heal the two of them, to scale away the white film of Tobit's eyes, to give Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, in marriage to Tobias, the son of Tobit, and to bind Asmodeus, the evil demon, because Tobias was entitled to possess her. At that very moment, Tobit returned and entered his house, and Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, came down from her upper room. So this just reminds me, like, me being a single woman. I often hear, God's timing is perfect, God's timing is perfect. And it can get very frustrating, it can get very old in a sense, but no matter what I'm going through, God's timing is perfect through it all. And not just for my relationship or finding someone someday, but in the aspect of how everything else in life gets placed in our lives. Like, there is an exact moment that God has placed for every aspect of our life. And that is just so cool to think about. Like, it's just mind-blowing. Like, he can keep track of each of our lives and know that at what exact point in our life something is going to happen for a specific reason. And it just shows here that the Lord knew, one, he listens to our prayers, he listens to our lamentations, and he answered that prayer. In that very moment, the prayer of both of them was heard. And it's just, God's timing is beautiful. And I wanted to take it a step further, because Tobit is a very short book, so we're not going to be able to come back to this. But I just wanted to point out just the beauty of this book. For me, it reads differently than other books in the Bible for me. It's like a storybook. It's like a novel in a sense. Like, it's coming from Tobit's point of view. And it's like you're reading a regular book. And it's mind-boggling to me. I guess I never have seen the Bible as that. But I love the storyline and how it's adding up, and pieces are added, and like, this is how this is going to work out. Because after that happened, Tobias sent his son Tobit to go to Media to see his relative Gabael, I think, to get the money that is owed to Tobit from Gabael, because Tobit is poor right now because he can't work because he's blind. Anna is working for them and providing for the family, but Tobit does not like that. He doesn't like that his wife is providing for him, and he wants to be able to provide for the family. And so he sends Tobias and to find a man to go with him. And the angel Raphael comes into Tobias's life. He's under a different name, and he's presented as a human. But then they both go to Media to get this money, and on their way, Raphael tells Tobias about Sarah. And Tobias knows about Sarah, and he's like, she has got married, none of them have lived. And Raphael's like, well, you're going to marry her. And I can't imagine Tobias in this moment being like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Like, if I die, my parents will be so grieved. Like, you don't understand. And it just shows Tobias is like, okay, if you say so. But like, I can't imagine what he's going through. Like, if I can't go back to my family, my parents will be distraught and will die from grief. But he meets Sarah. She's beautiful. And Raphael has given him instructions on how to get rid of the demon by smoking the liver and the gallbladder, and the demon flees. And it's just beautiful in response. And I love this. I've heard this in marriage ceremonies, this beautiful prayer that Tobias and Sarah say. Blessed are you, O God of our fathers, and blessed be your holy and glorious name forever. Let the heavens and all your creatures bless you. You made Adam and give him Eve as his wife, as a helper and support. From them the race of mankind has sprung. You said it is not good that the man should be alone. Let us make a helper for him like himself. And Tobias goes on and says, and now, O Lord, I am not taking this sister of mine because of lust, but with sincerity. Grant that I may find peace and may grow old together with her. And just that prayer that they said before consummating their marriage, and just thanksgiving for the Lord for bringing them together, for getting rid of the demon. It's just beautiful. So this book has so much beauty and so much just meat, in a sense, of our faith, and how to trust the Lord when we don't know what's going on, through the struggles. And it's just, I read somewhere that Tobit, the book of Tobit, is a sign of the aspect that the struggles in our life are not meant to destroy us, but to test us, for what's to come. And it kind of seems merciless on the aspect of God when I think of that immediately. Like, my initial response of like, why would you put such horrible suffering in our lives to just test us? But we live in a world where we have free will, and the lives that we choose, we make those decisions, and we live in a world that has evil in it, and God knows what's coming, so he's trying to prepare us in that sense. So that, for me, looking at it in that sense of like, the Lord is watching out for us, and he's seeing the suffering that we're going through. He doesn't want that suffering for us, but he knows that it needs to happen for us to be able to be prepared for the next step. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful how God works, and I hope this has helped. I know some people have been confused of why Tobit is in the Bible. I was at first, but now it has become one of my favorite books. There's just so much good content, and just a lot to glean from. So I hope you guys all have a beautiful week, and God bless.